major obstacle to peace is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has all too frequently bowed to the demands of extremists like Ministers Smotrich and Ben-Gvir and the settlers in the West Bank. Prime Minister Netanyahu has lost his way by allowing his political survival to take the precedence over the best interests of Israel. Netanyahu coalition no longer fits the needs of Israel after October 7th. At this critical juncture, I believe a new election is the only way to allow for a healthy and open decision-making process about the future of Israel. At a time when so many Israelis have lost their confidence in the vision and direction of their government.
The majority leader of the United States Senate is calling on the people of Israel to overthrow their government. Whether you like Bibi or not is not the question. The question is it appropriate for anybody in this body telling another country to take their government down? I don't know who he's trying to please by saying that, but they're not worth pleasing.
The major obstacle to peace is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has all too frequently bowed to the demands of extremists like Ministers Smotrich and Ben-Gvir and the settlers in the West Bank. I have known Prime Minister Netanyahu for a very long time. While we have vehemently disagreed on many occasions, I will always respect his extraordinary bravery for Israel on the battlefield as a younger man. I believe in his heart he has his highest priority is the security of Israel. However, I also believe Prime Minister Netanyahu has lost his way by allowing his political survival to take the precedence over the best interests of Israel. He has put himself in coalition with far-right extremists like Ministers Smotrich and Ben-Gvir, and as a result, he has been too willing to tolerate the civilian toll in Gaza, which is pushing support for Israel worldwide to historic lows. Israel cannot survive if it becomes a pariah. Prime Minister Netanyahu has also weakened Israel's political and moral fabric through his attempts to co-opt the judiciary, and he has shown zero interest in doing the courageous and visionary work required to pave the way for peace, even before this present conflict. The lifelong supporter of Israel, it has become clear to me Netanyahu coalition no longer fits the needs of Israel after October 7th. The world has changed radically since then, and the Israeli people are being stifled right now by a governing vision that is stuck in the past. Nobody expects Prime Minister Netanyahu to do the things that must be done to break the cycle of violence, to preserve Israel's credibility on the world stage, and to work towards a two-state solution. If he were to disavow Ministers Smotrich and Ben-Gvir and kick them out of his governing coalition, that would be a real meaningful step forward. But regrettably, there's no reason to believe Prime Minister Netanyahu would do that. He won't disavow Ministers Smotrich and Ben-Gvir in their calls for Israelis to drive Palestinians out of Gaza and the West Bank. He won't commit to a military operation in Rafah that prioritizes protecting civilian life. He won't engage responsibly in discussions about a day-after plan for Gaza and a longer-term pathway to peace. Hamas, the Palestinians who support and tolerate their evil ways, radical right-wing Israelis, government and society, President Abbas, Prime Minister Netanyahu. These are the four obstacles to peace. And if we fail to overcome them, then Israel and the West Bank and Gaza will be trapped. Same violent state of affairs they've experienced for the last 75 years. On the Israeli side, the U.S. government should demand that Israel conduct itself with a future two-state solution in mind. We should not be forced into a position of unequivocally supporting the actions of an Israeli government that include bigots who reject the idea of a Palestinian state. Israel is a democracy. 5 months into this conflict, it is clear that Israelis need to take stock of the situation and ask, must we change course? At this critical juncture, I believe a new election is the only way to allow for a healthy and open decision-making process about the future of Israel, at a time when so many Israelis have lost their confidence in the vision and direction of their government. I also believe a majority of the Israeli public will recognize the need for change, and I believe that holding a new election, once the war starts to wind down, would give Israelis an opportunity to express their vision for the post-war future. Of course, the United States cannot dictate the outcome of an election, nor should we try. That is for the Israeli public to decide. A public that I believe understands better than anybody that Israel cannot hope to succeed as a pariah posed by the rest of the world. As a democracy, Israel has the right to choose its own leaders, and we should let the chips fall where they may. But the important thing is that Israelis are given a choice. There needs to be a fresh debate about the future of Israel after October 7th. In my opinion, it is best accomplished by holding an election. Now, if Prime Minister Netanyahu's current coalition remains in power after the war begins to wind down and continues to pursue dangerous and inflammatory policies that test existing U.S. standards for assistance, then the United States will have no choice but to play a more active role in shaping Israeli policy by using our leverage to change the present course.
What he said today was earth-shatteringly bad. The majority leader of the United States Senate is calling on the people of Israel to overthrow their government. Whether you like Bibi or not is not the question. The question is it appropriate for anybody in this body telling another country to take their government down? We're going to have an election here. I hope we take the Biden government down through the election process, but that's for us to decide. And this has been very hurtful. I've been on the phone almost all day trying to explain to people what happened, and I don't have a good explanation. We're trying to get Saudi Arabia to recognize the one and only Jewish state. That's no easy thing for the Crown Prince to do, given this environment. We're trying to get Israel to take a leap of faith here, that it doesn't have to be this way all the time, to do some things that would allow Palestinian community to reorganize. 75% of the Israeli people do not support a two-state solution now. They've been terribly wounded. There is no support by any politician in Israel, Gantz, Lapid, anybody, to unilaterally declare a Palestinian state. 5 presidents of the United States have said that if there's ever a Palestinian state, it will come through direct negotiations without conditions between the parties. In the Trump administration, Jared Kushner had a plan to establish a Palestinian state that Prime Minister Netanyahu actually agreed with. The point here is that what should America be doing now? America should be helping Israel without qualification. We should be trying to find a way to ease the suffering of the Palestinian people, and the best way to do that is to destroy Hamas. The reason so many Palestinians have been killed is because Hamas uses them as human shields. We live in a world that's literally upside down. We're having prominent Democratic members, people I respect, calling on the Israeli people to take their government down. I can't believe it. I thought it was a joke. I thought somebody was pranking me this morning. This is a departure in a very serious way about how the United States interacts with its allies. I think it's done enormous damage to very delicate negotiations. I hope that Senator Schumer will revisit this. I don't know who he's trying to please by saying that, but they're not worth pleasing. Because I don't know who you're trying to please by saying that by saying that the Israeli government needs to cease to exist as it is today, and the Israeli people need to find somebody better in the eyes of Senator Schumer. I'm not asking the Israeli people to elect somebody I like. I'm asking them, whenever you have an election, elect somebody that you like. I'm not asking the people of Israel to bow to my view of how to settle this matter after the largest loss of Jewish life since the Holocaust. I want to give unconditional, unqualified support to the people of Israel to destroy Hamas. What Senator Schumer said on the floor of the Senate has taken the country and the Senate down the wrong road. This is not something any of us should be saying, calling on a government to be toppled basically by its own people. At the end of the day, Bibi's not the problem. The problem is radical Islam wanting to kill every Jew they can find. The problem is Iran, that has its mission to destroy the Jewish state and to purify Islam. I could spend hours talking about the Biden-Obama policy of empowering the Ayatollah, but that's not for today. So what I would say as to what Senator Schumer said today, my response to Senator Schumer, I'm disappointed. You've done a lot of damage, my friend, and you need to fix this.